Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to basically my live stream test, my first one here for Destroying the Illusion 2.0, my backup channel here. Shout out to all you guys that still get notifications to this channel and are showing up here in the chat to this live stream. I don't even know if anybody's going to show up to this. I might be talking to nobody here, but hey, it is what it is. Like I've said, I'm going to start using this channel to do live streams, more longer format stuff, just kind of shoot the shit and blab on like I love to, but I want to make my main channel as like the short, sweet, to the point, do my situation reports and other like Q&A vids on there. Plus I have a strike on that channel. I like always have a strike on that channel. So it's just a good idea to have a backup. It's a good idea to have something where I can get a little more, I don't know, wear my poofy vests and just chill and hang out and talk to all you guys. So, we got a lot of people in the chat here. What's up, everybody? Las Vegas in the house. Good morning from Southwest Washington. Hello from Colorado. What's up, everybody? Great to see all of you. I can even, I'm using OBS. Let me see if I can get the chat in the, oh yeah, I can put the chat up here. So yeah, this is just a test. This is me playing around with everything, trying to learn it. I'm not as fancy as some other YouTubers, but I can get down on some OBS. I can figure out how to make this work. It's not that tough. So let's see here. What do I have to update you guys on? As you probably have noticed, I haven't been on the internet really doing as much video content as much lately, and I kind of feel bad about that. Honestly, I've been more inconsistent than I wanted to, but at least at this particular point in my YouTube career, I don't know what you want to call it. I've almost been doing this whole citizen journalist thing, digital soldier thing for 4 years now. I started about 9 months before Q started posting. My first video on my Destroying the Illusion YouTube channel was in like January 2017, I think, maybe even December. So it's been about 4 years now since I've been doing all this. And this is probably the most difficult point that I've encountered through this whole process with all the shit I'm dealing with right now. One of those things I'm dealing with includes losing my Twitter account. Great, fantastic. 200,000 followers on that, just swiped from me with no reason from Twitter. And it's a real pain in the ass because Twitter was the main way that I was following the news and categorizing it and all that. I would have lists. I had at least like 10 lists filled with dozens, if not hundreds of different accounts that I would put into those lists. And that's how I would track news. I would have a list for like conservative media, a list for fake news, a list for Q folk I want to follow that I trust, list for shills out there that I wanted to keep track of. I had a lot of different lists. So by Twitter taking that account away from me, that like definitely put me in the dark. I had to, I've had to find new ways to sort of keep track of everything. I see a comment here that says Twitter is not the best place to find news. I mean, quite honestly, what is a good place to find news these days? Twitter is actually a great place, but that's why I had the list. That's why I was categorizing everything, because if you only have one timeline, it does suck, but there's a website out there called TweetDeck, tweetdeck.com, and it's fantastic because what you can do is take those lists and then put them all on one page. So you can have like 10 to 15 different timelines all right there in front of you that are updating to the second. So it's a good website, tweetdeck.com, if you've never heard of it. Anyway, that's what I was using. So yeah, just pain in the ass. Thank you, Shauna Lee, for the super chat. Much appreciated. Thank you. No comment with it, so nothing for me to talk about with it, but I appreciate that. And yeah, I can get super chats on this channel. This channel, there's no strikes on this channel. This one's good to go. That's kind of why I want to incorporate this one in with the other one, because it's like I get a little more freedom on this one. So you just kind of, with this digital battle that we're waging, you kind of got to jump around. With me losing my Twitter, I've been on Parler a lot more. I see some comments talking about Parler. Parler is full of glitches. It's not the best out there. Could be better, but it's an option. it's an option, and quite a few people are on it. They have over 1 million, most likely, definitely more than that by now. But there's a good amount of people on there. So I'm using Parler. I'm also using Gab. I haven't been much of a Gabber, but it's neat. Like, it functions with less glitches than Parler does. It doesn't have a phone app like Parler, so that's a bummer. But Gab is farther along in their developmental process. So I don't know. I've been using them all a lot more, and I'm on Facebook more now too. So it's kind of, I don't know. Maybe it's a blessing in disguise that I lost my Twitter account. It's just another notch on the censorship belt. I can add that to whatever class action lawsuit comes up in my future, and then just put more time into other places, other videos. Twitter's kind of a time waste. I was spending probably a little more time on there scrolling than I should have. So I'll be doing more content elsewhere now. Here's a question. Do I still upload on BitChute? Yes, go find my BitChute channel. In fact, all these different accounts and platforms and whatnot, I'm just going to, after this video is done, I'm going to go into the description and copy and paste them into there for you guys. Yeah, every video that I post on all of these YouTube channels goes up on BitChute now. So doing that as well. BitChute, and then the JordanSather.tv channel. So there's that. And not only have I been dealing with the Twitter being terminated, taken from me, but as you guys heard me talk about on my other channel, my freaking rental house is being taken from me too. Like, what the heck? And I'll give you guys the actual, I haven't said too many details about it, but I'll give you guys the story of what happened. It's nothing too complicated. It's not like deep state. It's not, I don't know. My landlord's getting divorced, and his ex-wife is taking the place I'm at now in the split. That's it. Like, that's just a shit out of luck situation for everybody involved, definitely me, and like that's it. Not much I can do about it. So I have about another month and a half to find a place, and it's been stressing me out hugely. I mean, that's the main reason why you guys haven't seen any content from me over the last week, is because I've been spending dozens and dozens of hours driving to different properties, spending hours talking to the landlords, applying to these places. I got denied for a few places, and it's tough. It's always tough renting, but especially for like me and what I do, I have to make up excuses to every single landlord that I talk to. And I tell them like, oh, I just sell supplements for a living or something like that. Oh, I just do, one excuse I usually use is social media marketing and like video production. I use really vague cover stories as to what I do. And then they always ask more. They're like, okay, I want a proof of income. How do you make, how can you pay the bills doing these super vague things? It's like, it's tough. And for a couple of the applications I got denied for, I'm like, man, did these people like do a Google search of me and like, I don't know. But anyway, I was so stressed out about it last week. I was so stressed. I was spending so many hours on this. It's just like, I can't anymore. I can't. And there's more important things for me to do, like this and the work that I haven't been doing quite as much. So there's been a couple breaks that have come my way. I'm not too concerned about it. Heck, if worse comes to worse, like I'll just put all my shit in a storage unit and, I don't know, hit the road, Airbnb around, move back in with my parents for a month or two while I figure things out. I don't know, but I don't want to waste time when, of course, right now we've got the election to worry about. We've got what the hell is going to happen over the next month or two with D-class and disclosure and everything else going on. So I don't know. I can't waste any more time on that. And moving is such a freaking hassle because I was expecting to be here for a little bit longer. And, when the whole coronavirus thing hit, I invested some money into like a couple weights, and I don't know. It's just a bummer. Now I got to move all that shit. So we'll see. Yeah. Thanks for the support, everybody. Rachel says, I'll end up exactly where I'm supposed to be. That's how I'm feeling it. And actually, I was thinking about this the other day. I'm waiting. I really want to wait for the election. Like, not the national election, but the state election, Washington State. Because if Inslee wins again, I don't want to stay here. If Inslee wins, I don't want to be here. I want to get out, move the states, But granted, I love this state. It's beautiful, minus the drawbacks. And there's benefits here when you have your own business, no income tax. So I don't know. It's just pros and cons. I'm weighing a lot right now, but I don't want to focus on that. I want to focus on work that I need to get back to doing. So yeah, I'm going to do a lot more live streams here on this channel. And hopefully I will learn this enough to get people in on this for live interviews too. Kind of like how Red Pill 78 does it. That dude's like a magician with all his production stuff. He's got like 4 computer screens in front of him, and you know, he's consistent as all heck with the videos he does. And he does them all live, has people call into his show. So I'm going to try to make this as to like a call-in show where people can call in and do the interviews with me. But if I can't figure that out and it's too much for me, I'll just pre-record them and all that. But yeah, I'll do these possibly once a week, like a live show this style once a week. I'll decide on a date and time, and I'll do a bunch of interviews on this channel coming up too. Let's see here. The Great Awakening, that's the account name, sent a super chat saying, "You're going to kill it over the next 4 years, Jordan." That's what I'm waiting for, man. That's what I'm waiting for. Quite honestly, all this political stuff is like, it's so divisive, isn't it? And it's so draining. And it's necessary, like it's absolutely necessary to fight this political battle, as much as some people in the so-called disclosure community think politics doesn't matter, it's a waste of time. It absolutely, does, especially now more than ever. Maybe before this election and the 2016 election, politics was a wash because, of course, both sides were always controlled. But in 2016 and 2020 here, now we have situations where one side isn't as controlled as the other, so it matters more so now than ever. So yeah, we got to do that. But after this, like, political stuff is just, we don't have to worry about it quite as much anymore, and Trump gets his next 4 years, and then we get on to the next stage of D-class and disclosure and the Great Awakening, then yeah, that's the part I'm waiting for, when we can really go to the next level, talk about deeper things like, okay, let's get into the technologies that have been hidden from us for the last 60 years, and let's talk about where we've been lied to in terms of physics and science, and like, yeah, that'll be fun. Let's see here. Thank you, Rural Juror Red Bluff. Send me a super chat. That's his account name. Say that 10 times fast. Rural Juror Red Bluff says, I was a huge part of their awakening. Mr. Bourne. Thank you, Mr. Bourne. Nice reference. I've been told by somebody who I happen to be in contact with that there's been a new Twitter account that is impersonating me that somehow came back up. So, I don't know, you can go find that. I think they call themselves Jordan Bourne or something to that effect. And another comment here. LL says, your Trump and Putin trolling the world video opened your eyes. You don't fall for the Q psyops because of me. That's awesome. Great. What do you mean you don't fall for the Q psyops? I've fallen for the Q psyops for the last 3 years, man. But no, I appreciate that. Absolutely. And my Trump and Putin troll in the world video, that's good. That was a classic. That was like one of the first ones that I did with the whiteboard. And that was before Q ever came out. That was about 4 or 5 months before Q, I think. At the beginning of the summer in 2017. That was when a big false flag looking event happened in Syria. And I just basically was scratching my head. And I'm like, I don't think Trump and Putin are, against each other. And I definitely didn't think Russia colluded in the election. I just thought Donald Trump and Vlad Putin were, running a worldwide counterintelligence sting against the deep state. And that's, kind of how I still think of it in some ways, in very similar ways. So, yeah, that whiteboard, man, it's coming back. It's definitely coming back. I'm going to get the whiteboard into the picture on the main Destroying the Illusion channel. And then also go check out my channel for Conscious Strength, my health brand. I'm going to start uploading videos on there this week, and a lot of those are going to be whiteboard videos, just going through a lot of different health, nutrition information, things like that. So, yeah, the whiteboard will make an appearance back soon on those channels. So, yeah, guys, If there's anything else you want to chat about here, hold on. How long have we been live? About 15 minutes. YouTube has a whole new back end, a whole new dashboard for going live, and I'm incredibly confused by it. I liked their old sort of back end, their old dashboards a whole lot better. So this one's just weird to me. I'm still figuring it out. It's like when it comes to understanding tech and video production, all this stuff, it takes me a long time to learn it, like a long time. It's not that I'm slow to learn it, it's just I procrastinate. I'm like, I think it's far too complicated for me to learn, so I don't learn it and put it off. But then once I finally get into it and start playing around with all the buttons and programs and things, then it's like, oh, it's a piece of cake. So here's a comment, said, so Q is fake news. The majority of what Q gives us is not fake news, but there is a certain percentage that they put out that, yes, is fake news, but it's not fake news meant to manipulate in a malevolent way. It's fake news that's put out in a counterintelligence way. Disinfo is necessary. They put out some false information for some sort of, purpose. To make the bad guys make a bad move or something like that. So there's that. Have I read the latest drops October 11th? Yes, so I just filmed a video like right before I did this. This was pretty spontaneous. I wasn't going to go live on here today, but I was like, screw it, let's do it. I just made another sit rep video from my main DTI channel that after we're done here, I'm going to get on editing and uploading. So it'll be up within an hour or two, so you can go check out there. Yeah, I cover all the latest Q drops along with some other stuff that happened over the weekend. Pretty crazy stuff going on with UFOs. I'm sure you guys have seen Tucker Carlson did a segment featuring the director, James Fox, of a new UFO documentary that came out called The Phenomenon. James Fox is the director of it. He was on Tucker Carlson's show last Friday. And, yeah, weird documentary. If you haven't heard about it or have no idea what it is, here's a hint. It features John Podesta, of all people, and Harry Reid. Yeah, John Podesta and Harry Reid. And Bill Richardson, yeah, the former governor of New Mexico, one of Jeffrey Epstein's old pals. So those are all the people in this freaking UFO documentary. Imagine how woke it's going to be. Like the diet woke of all diet woke. And I think Tucker Carlson, he's been reporting on quite a bit of UFO stuff over the last 2 years. I think his hands are being tied. I think it's the Fox producers that are forcing him to do it. And then he's just been towing the line of the Tom DeLonge UFO propaganda. That's all it's been. So I don't think it's Tucker doing that. I think it's the producers, and I think it's a huge psyop for a lot of different reasons, man. And that's going to be actually the next whiteboard video that I put up on my main channel. I'm going to do that maybe later today. Might get to that probably tomorrow, more likely. But yeah, I'm going to go deep dive into this whole phenomenon documentary and what we're seeing with it all. It's odd. But more incredibly enough, yesterday, Donald Trump was on Maria Bartiromo's Fox News program in the morning called, Sunday Futures or something like that. Sunday morning show. Maria Bartiromo does it on Fox News. Trump called in yesterday. He was talking about a lot of things. He talked about D-Class, dropping some other big booms, but he also was asked about UFOs, Maria Bartiromo. I like Tucker Carlson and I like Maria, okay? There are a select few hosts and guests on Fox News that I like, and I trust their intentions. Doesn't mean I always trust what they say, but I trust their intentions. A lot of other Fox News sucks, okay? Let's be honest. But Maria Bartiromo brought the subject of UFOs up to Donald Trump, and Trump basically said he, bypassed that pretty skillfully. He's like, we're going to have to check on that. He, went around it. But then he proceeded to talk about military equipment. Like, military equipment is the best it's ever been or something like that. I don't remember the exact words he used, but he didn't talk about UFOs. He talked about military equipment. And pretty incredible, huh? I instantly thought of the Space Force. Why do you think the Space Force was created? To disclose those secret space programs and black projects and all that stuff. The military-industrial complex is hidden from us for decades. But also, Trump discussing that in such a way and being asked that question, he has to get ahead of any sort of fake news UFO stories that the mainstream media might want to print in the next 3 or 4 weeks upcoming till the election. Who knows what sort of October surprise they might be concocting and might want to pull. But yeah, it's a very careful battle for disclosure. It's a massive part of the information war that we're seeing right now. And, all subjects are being thrown at us in that information war, especially UFOs. And there's a lot of basically half-truths that are being peddled to us by the fake news legacy media complex. These are half-truths, in my opinion, to cover up deeper truths and also manage the narratives of disclosure. The whole Tom DeLonge UFO group, then you got Chris Mellon, who you might have seen all over the mainstream media the last few years. He might have actually been on Tucker Carlson's program on Friday with the director of that documentary, James Fox. Might have been Chris Mellon, but you've seen him all over the mainstream media. He's a part of Tom DeLonge's To the Stars Academy UFO research group. Lou Elizondo, also a part of Tom DeLonge's group. You've probably also seen him and his little goatee all over the mainstream media the last few years. These guys are it's a weaponized and politicized limited hangout UFO disclosure to manage the narratives. And like I said, politicize disclosure. And they try to dress it up to make it seem non-political. But really, it totally is. Tom DeLonge is very anti-Trump. He's made that known publicly on his Twitter account and other places. Chris Mellon has signed along with, I think, 80 or 90 former Department of Defense workers, he signed a document. It was basically an anti-Trump, manifesto, something like that. It was featured in the Washington Post a few months back. It didn't get much press, but I definitely saw Chris Mellon's name on there. So yeah, just it's bad, and it's very deep. It's very complex because there's a lot of different names and people and acronyms involved, and it confuses people. And then they see UFOs and see Tucker Carlson reporting on it and go, "Oh, this documentary must be great," and all this stuff. It's very confusing. So I won't rant too much more about it. That's why I'm going to get the whiteboard and all that out for it. So, yeah, we'll dive into that more in the future. But understand, there's a lot of smoke and mirrors going on. Just a lot. Disinformation is everywhere about so many topics right now. And it's definitely infiltrating into the Q world, Q community. Disinformation is. A lot of people are pushing just stupid shit. Total stupid shit, fake claims. I don't know, stuff they just dream up in their heads and think it's the truth and tweet it. And it just circulates, goes viral, circulates around the Q movement. So you just have to be careful. Go through a few more comments here that I might have missed. Okay. Can I make a show with Ben and Rob? Maybe on edgeofwonder.tv would be amazing. Keep up the good work. I want to. I still want to. I'm still cool with Ben and Rob. I love their stuff. I'm just... I've got enough shit to deal with right now on my own that I'm trying to get good to go. And then I also have my new jordansather.tv that I need to start uploading more videos on there. So, yeah, that's definitely something I still want to do. I'm just trying to get all my ducks in a row right now and then find find some sort of project that would work there. Like, what would I do on edgeofwonder.tv that would be new? That's tough. Especially because I don't really have any production help or editing help. Not too much. I have one guy, maybe two guys that could help, but I don't know what I would do that would be new for them, right? We'll see. Someday, yes. Thanks for the super chats, guys. Let's see here. Comment says, Jordan, is it true that I'm only 5'2"? No, I'm not 5'2". I'm totally average. I'm 5'10". Weigh about $170, so no, I'm middle of the road. You've recently watched my William Tompkins interviews, Shauna says. Thank you. Classic interviews those are. Apparently, William Tompkins has a part 2 of his book out now, of his autobiography. The first one came out in 2015, of course, when he was coming out with all his testimonies and he was still alive. And now, though, Dr. Robert Wood, who is working very closely with William Tompkins, I believe has posthumously released the part 2 of his autobiography. So I still need to read that. I need to get on that. And then let's see here. Here's a comment from GT Rod. Do I follow Sphere Being Alliance? What's your opinion on that? Well, I used to work with, Corey Good there pretty close for a couple of years. And him and that whole sort of team, many members in that group that was around him. And earlier this year, I had to disassociate myself just for my own many reasons, but my own integrity, I guess, forced me to do that because I saw a lot of downright false information that was coming from David Wilcock and Corey Good in YouTube videos earlier this year. And, I won't go too deep into that now. I may or may not in the future. But yeah, I just pulled away from all of that group and their claims and their supposed insiders that I just got really tired of, and all these endless lawsuits, and is what we're even being told about these lawsuits the truth, plus the money type stuff. So no, I had to go my own way. So I will there's a lot more that I want to discuss, but I'm just finding the good time and place to do that. So yeah, change happens. And somebody here said, Mike Church, you gave me the only reason to believe Corey Good. You would think that the person should give you enough of a reason to believe that person. Like, it shouldn't be me in that situation. But yeah, things just changed. I kind of took a step back and I'm like, I don't really know anymore with a lot of things being said. Like, where I was just waiting so long for, I guess, evidence, sauce, as they say on the Chans or on the Coons now. Like, where's the sauce? But it just became more and more hearsay from insiders over and over again. And also contradictory statements in the information that they would put out. Like, what was the Austin Steinbart stuff way back when, back in like April, May. And then a couple months later, it was like, oh, no, Austin Steinbart's a LARP. It was like, what's with the contradiction? There's other contradictions too I could point out. Again, I'm not going to rant about it here, but I just had to, trust my own instincts and move on. Oh, God. Here's a good comment. What annoys me more, flat earthers or extreme lefty never Trumpers? That's funny. Oh, so the message just got deleted. No, flat earthers annoy me pretty good. Probably flat earthers, honestly. Liberals, lefty people, unless they're like incredibly violent Antifa, they don't bother me. I just know they're misled and like poor folks that believe the mainstream media too much. So, but once you go flat earth, it's like, whoa. I thought you were like a truth-seeking conspiracy theorist person, somebody who should be at least a little more woke or a little more knowledgeable than others. What are you going flat earth for? And the Nazara stuff, yeah, definitely flat earth seems to be like a CIA or some sort of like deep state, deep intelligence community psyop, most definitely. And honestly, I think Nazara might be too. Just saying, I'm going to do some more work on Nazara too on the whiteboard on my main channel here in the future, but Nazara, like literally no evidence for it. No evidence. None. That whole quantum financial system thing, never ever has it been mentioned on like an official website anywhere. Again, it's just stuff that's dreamed up. And people get into a lot of these psyops and they get emotionally invested in them because, especially with like Nazara, oh, we're going to get saved by this supposed thing. Or the mass arrest sort of claims. People get caught up on that because they want the emotional relief of being saved. But meanwhile, there ain't nothing there. There's no sauce. There's no evidence. And people are getting duped. Duped. Like, man, I heard of Nazara first. The first time I heard of it was 8 years ago, man. A long time ago. I know I look young, but I've been into this stuff like, well, relatively I'm young compared to probably some of you, but I've been into this stuff for a few years now, like 8, 9 years, and I heard of Nazara a long time ago. And guess what? The exact same shit that I was hearing 8, 9 years ago when I was into that stuff, same stuff I'm hearing now. Like it hasn't changed. It's only changed a little bit because Trump and Q are on the scene, and now it's like Trump and Q are in with all this Nazara stuff, which is ridiculous. But it's just interesting how quick some people are to believe stuff they see on the internet with not much evidence or proof behind it. So yeah, you gotta be careful. Here's a comment that says there is now a governmental website for quantum stuff. That's true. I think it's just called quantum.gov. But let's not do the logical fallacy here. That doesn't prove Nazara exists. That doesn't mean a quantum financial system exists. If you search quantum.gov, the actual government's website, doesn't say a thing about a quantum financial system. Who would have thunk? Just because Q posted about a gold standard doesn't mean Nazara is real. Like, these things can be separate, That's the discernment process. That's the structure of logical fallacies that you got to understand. Doesn't mean, just because one might be true or might be happening doesn't mean the other one's true. So, yeah, it's all that. Hold up. Someone said Dylan Wheeler got his accounts wiped. No way. Oh, man. I'm going to have to, hold on. I got to check my Instagram. That's funny. He, Dylan Wheeler, he used to be, he used to have, 300 or 400,000 followers on Instagram and Twitter. He had big accounts. A lot of people liked him. He was young and he had energy. And he showed off his kid a lot so that, he pulled on people's heartstrings that way. And then he did his total 180, a couple months back. And just went straight anti-Q, anti-Trump, Trump's the devil. He also went all flat earth. Flat earth. Oh, it does look like he's gone. Bummer for him. Yeah, they've been doing wipes just all over the place. I guess going anti-Q didn't save his account, did it? It's a bummer. Honestly, yeah, I feel bad for Dylan. I hope he's okay. I hope he didn't take money. That's what I hope he didn't do. I hope he didn't sell out, because I do know that supposed flat earth groups will pay people money. I was told by, I guess I don't know, I just heard, but I wouldn't be surprised at all, right? I was told by somebody who's pretty popular in the whole UFO disclosure circuit, goes to the conferences and stuff like that. I was told by him that he was offered $50,000 to start pumping flat earth stuff on his Instagram accounts and YouTube channel and stuff. So yeah, it doesn't surprise me at all. Here's a comment here that says, Charlie Ward, who has insider information due to the nature of his job, has said that the quantum financial system does exist. I'm sorry, that just sounds like bullshit. I've watched countless hours of Charles Ward's videos and Charlie Freak videos and even Santa surfing videos and even interviews that Robert David Steele did with Charles Ward and Charlie Freak, a lot of them. Let me tell you, thank God for 2 times speed on YouTube. But I have, I don't talk about things with doing the due diligence of research. People come at me like it's my freaking ego or something like that. No, it's my confidence. I know what I'm talking about because I've listened to these guys. I've heard of what they said. And I also know what they're talking about. There is no quantum financial system. Charles Ward's over and over again says he has insiders and hears from sources and all this shit. It's more of that. Really? We're supposed to believe you based off insider stuff? And there's no evidence, again, for a quantum financial system. They can say it exists as much as they want to, but that's not evidence. They can bring on as many people onto the program to create that echo chamber of people saying, oh, Nazara's real. Here's a bunch of stuff it's going to do to us. We're going to magically get $1 million in our bank account tomorrow. They can bring on as many people onto their channel as they want to create that echo chamber. It doesn't mean it's real, right? So, again, discernment. Do many people even know what discernment is? Gosh, I'm starting to question that these days. Do you even know what the process is? Period. First of all. And then next, how do you apply that, right? So, These live streams are good. They'll be good for me to just get this all off my chest and help you guys see my side of things. Oh, getting back into UFOs. Somebody brought up Stephen Greer. Uh-oh. Yeah, there's another one I don't really trust. I mean, a lot of his information, I think, is solid. Not all of it by any means. But some of Stephen Greer's information is solid. I've learned a lot from him, especially back in like 2013, 14, 15. But there's a whole lot of stuff that Greer does not speak of, period. And a whole lot of shady individuals and shady stuff he does. He's even contradicted his own self. Like, he used to, I think a few years ago, be like pretty anti-Gaia. And then here he goes on to Gaia and does a bunch of programs with them. And here on his Gaia programs, he's like talking up the Rockefeller Initiative stuff and acting like, you know, his involvement with Lawrence Rockefeller and all that was innocent. Yeah, that's bullshit. I don't believe that. Again, you just have to be so careful out there. So careful. Somebody commented and said, hold up here. Oh, I lost it. It went through. Sorry about that. Flat Earth equals CIA PSYOP. Yeah, I agree with that one. Ooh, here's a comment that says, I don't know what has happened to Jordan. Bring info, not by trashing people. I guess you enjoy being misinformed. I mean, that's the only thing I can assume from that comment. Maybe you like it. Maybe you like not caring what the truth really is, just hearing information and going, oh, that sounds good. And I am bringing information. My information is telling you that their information is not solid. Somebody's got to be out there fact-checking, right? People throwing the gatekeeper word around all over the place lately about me, and I'm like, I don't see myself as a gatekeeper because these are just my opinions, and you don't have to subscribe to these channels and follow my accounts. But, I mean, somebody's got to be out there, like, checking all these crazy claims that go around all viral and stuff in the awakening community. Like, it's simple. It's very simple. It's asking the questions that other people just maybe might be a little too scared to ask. And I understand that people are scared to ask these questions because, geez, like, look at this comment section. I'm getting wrecked by people who got all these, emotional ties into these people, but you don't know them. You don't know who they are, really. And you hear them just go on and on with all this word salad and make these crazy claims. It's like, do you really believe that? So, I'm not doing this shit for clicks, man. Obviously, I'm not doing it for clicks, and I'm not doing it for money. If I was doing this stuff for money, I'd be making videos every single day, pumping who knows what, everything I could, right? Making myself like $300 courses teaching, I don't know, Ascension. That's what I'd do if I wanted to make money, but I'm not in it for that, and I'm not in it for the clicks. If I get clicks, that's great. That means a lot of people are resonating with what I'm saying. If I'm not getting clicks, then maybe I can say what I'm saying in a maybe easier way for them to digest or a happier way, but I'm not gonna, I'm not gonna go out there and start spitting things I don't think are true for, I don't know, followers and stuff. So, yeah, somebody said, yeah, Jordan doesn't do this for money since he doesn't post as much anymore. No shade thrown toward me. Yeah, that's okay. I can deal with some internet banter. People need to really detach from the internet and understand that it's just the internet. What people say on the internet will not hurt you. It can't hurt you. Unless, of course, it's defamatory stuff that's meant to attack you. But, there's just things people say on the internet. What are you getting offended for it for? I always love some good banter. But no, I'm going to be posting a lot more. And, yeah, I don't do this for the money. We've got to pay the bills, of course. There's nothing wrong with that. I don't come down on people for needing to support themselves. But in that same vein, are they supporting themselves by being honest? Honest to themselves and honest to you? Or are they getting their cash, getting their money from making shit up and misinforming you? That I'm not okay with at all. I don't care what people do if they're, pure of heart. Even if I disagree with their information, if I think they have good integrity, I'm not gonna, go scorched earth on them. Integrity is what matters to me, not seeing eye to eye. It's literally the point here with this whole awakening process is not to see eye to eye. If we all saw the same and thought the same, then we'd all be sheep. That's exactly what the deep state wants. No, the point of waking up, the point of being all in this together is all coming together with the different perspectives, with the different backgrounds, with the different information to figure out where the truth is and what we all have wrong, right? I don't have any problems with people who have different views than I do. My problem is when people have views that are clearly misinforming, and they clearly have a pattern of behavior that is to misinform you over and over again for whatever reason. And you can, go through the investigation to try to find what their intention might be. But a lot of people out there just want validation because they're broken humans. They want validation, or they want money, or they want clicks, right? And this is fourth quarter, everybody. We can't be having that right now. We can't be having our JV on the field. We need our varsity on the field who takes this shit seriously, right? So, those are my thoughts on that. I'll hit up a few more questions here. We're about 40 minutes in. We'll do a few more questions, and I'll jet for this one. Somebody made a comment about Emery Smith on Gaia, does stuff in the disclosure circles. Emery lost me when he stayed friends with David and threatened Jordan. He used to be clear-minded and nice. Yeah, Emery was a interesting one. He was another one who I think just came out with a lot of crazy claims, zero evidence behind all of it, and just expected people to believe him, and a lot of people did. And then they rolled him around a lot of the UFO conferences, right? And he's on Gaia. And man, Emery, yeah, he threatened me. This was at the Contact in the Desert conference last year in 2019. He was caught, I don't think it was on a hot mic. Maybe he knew he was being recorded. I think he knew. I'm not sure if he knew. But anyway, he was caught. He was doing an interview with a dude, and he was caught saying that he wanted to beat my effing face in or kick my effing ass or something like that. He said that if he saw me, he would beat me up because he was promoting the false claims, totally fake, that I doxed him and I was a part of all this doxing stuff, which I never was. That was just circulated around the UFO community by a bunch of just stupid people who didn't like me. And yeah, he was totally promoting that shit and threatened me. And I'm like, well, it's weird, Emery. It's totally weird. Speaking of somebody that's just sauceless. But I don't know. I guess Gaia is more entertainment than actual disclosure. It's a true fact. Don't be thinking you're going to get full disclosure on Gaia. So, yeah. You'll get some good information. Like I said earlier about Greer, I would never tell you not to look at a resource of information, whether it's mis or disinformation or true information. You can really learn something from anything. Sometimes I can learn from Greer, oh, okay. He's saying this about that, so I know what his angle is going to be. But, yeah, I'll definitely be opinionated and tell you what I think, though. A lot of big oofs. Yeah, a lot of big oofs in the UFO disclosure land. That's why a lot of them just hate Q with a passion, because Q's come out and really given the public a way to have insider intel. Really, it's a way for the public to have insider intel. And a lot of these previous people who were the fake insiders who I don't know, made shit up for a paycheck. I don't know. It's kind of made them irrelevant, right? So, yeah, that's why a lot of people in UFO disclosure land, they hate Q. And they lie about it and they try to push it out of their events. I've been asked at multiple events that I was at over the last 2 or 3 years not to talk about Q or Trump or anything political. They just wanted me to talk about UFOs and shiny objects in the sky and shit like that. And I'm like, how do you separate the two? You call yourself woke? This is supposed to be a frickin' disclosure conference, yet you don't want me to talk about some of the most important shit going on the planet right now. And how are you really going to separate politics from disclosure? You can't. You can't at all. But they wanted me to. Contact in the Desert was one. I think that's a reason that they censored my talk and didn't want to put out the CD and the DVD of it and all that. Was because I got too political for them. So yeah, man. Also, yeah, that was a weird thing that I saw on Corey Good's Twitter a couple of days ago. Speaking of possible flip-flopping, like, I don't know why I saw Corey Good put out a tweet that was basically supporting that UFO documentary, The Phenomenon. He was telling people to go watch it, and he watched it a couple days ago, and there was a spot about it on Tucker Carlson. Like, dude, I thought you were all against the limited hangout partial disclosure Tom DeLonge thing. He was all against it. But a couple of days ago, he puts out this tweet supporting the Phenomenon documentary, which is a total Tom DeLonge supporting doc with John Podesta and Bill Richardson in it. I'm like, Corey, do you even think about what you tweet anymore? I don't know. I don't know if he does. I really don't. So yeah, that's just another piece of data, another piece of evidence as to why I did what I did. So yeah, it's not time for games. It is not time for games. So anyway, that's about it. That's about it, everybody. John here to help equals PSYOP. Yeah, I don't trust that one either. There's a lot of shady characters that are inserting themselves into the Q movement as so-called insiders or disclosure authorities or something like that. There's a lot of them on YouTube and Twitter. They have YouTube channels and they do YouTube interviews and they're on Twitter too. I'm not going to go down a list of names because I can't even remember how many of them there are, but yeah, there's a lot of them. Monica says, I highly recommend to research Nazara. This is based on a court case of farmers whose land was illegally taken away by banksters. Again, there is no proof of that ever happening. People say that Bill Clinton signed the Nazara bill into law back in 2000. There's no proof of that. That's a perfect example right there, that comment of my point, in that people say, I recommend to research it. This is what it is. But how am I going to believe, why should I believe a random comment on YouTube or a random tweet? It doesn't mean it's the truth, right? Find me some evidence, I'll wait, but I won't hold my breath. So anyway, that's it for this one, guys. Okay, I've ranted long enough. I enjoy deconstructing disinformation. We do it with the mainstream media all the time, right? So why not do it everywhere else? That's my opinion. And yes, we get very emotionally tied into these people in the truth-telling world and disclosure world because we really want disclosure to happen. So we get emotionally invested in them, but that clouds our critical thinking. So we need to not let that happen. And hey, I'll look like the bad guy if I need to. I don't care. I'll look like the bad guy, and I'll put these weird claims on blast if I need to. I'm doing it for you. Really, because I got caught up with a lot of this shit 5, 6, 7, 8 years ago. I did. And I know how it led me astray and how I wasted a lot of time and effort, researching Nazara. I wasted a lot of time in that and believing a lot of these people in the UFO world when they really didn't have all that much evidence behind what they're saying. I know how I was led astray. So I'm saying these things so you don't get led astray, okay? I'm doing it because I love you. So anyway, thanks, guys. Last super chat here. Thanks, Jordan. Cool name. Where did I move to in WA? Well, as you can see, I haven't relocated yet, so I'm still at where the headquarters has been for a little while. I don't know. We'll see. I'll let you know. I probably won't let you know. Why would I tell you where I moved to? Why would I tell you? I'll let you know if I stay in Washington or leave Washington. That's about as much as I'll tell you. So anyway, take care, everybody. Let me find the button. How do I end this stream? There we go. Take care. See you next time. Oops. Nah. Am I still on? Should be off by now. Am I still on? I hit off on OBS. It should be off. Do I have to hit it on this? Oh, I gotta hit it on the browser. Okay. Now take care, everybody.